Hi ladies and gents, Pond here with another video for Rise of Empires, Ice and Fire. Thank you so much for your previous likes, comments and subscriptions to the channel. If you haven't subscribed already, why not click on that button and ring the bell so you can get notifications of whenever I'm dropping content on the channel. And now onto the topic of this video. And in the last about 12 hours, the developers have finally dropped the skills for the 3 SX12 heroes. So let's get straight into it and have a look at their specific skills. This is my first look at them. I haven't had access to them yet from the developers. I don't have any copies in my account or done any recruitment. So it's just literally having a look and giving my thoughts on how good they're going to be. Of course, this is a change as well from previous seasons where the developers have always followed the same course that our sister game Last Shelter Survival followed, where we were getting 2 seasons a hero since SX4, and obviously now they're diverging away from that, because I know in LSS they have still just been releasing 2 heroes each season. So are they going to be comparable to those heroes? First up, we've got El Cid. He's a melee hero, so most likely a front row hero, and he is cavalry. Just looking at his design, he's got kind of a nice armor, kind of knight look to him, and he does have a big shield, which would indicate, you know, he's a bit defensive. For a cavalry hero, he's not on a horse, but there you go, not many of them are. So let's have a look at his skills. Of course, dictator skill is, as usual, giving the extra marching bonus, nothing new there. Would be interesting if they actually changed that for a hero, wouldn't it? Skill 2, Sword of Faith, combat skill, effective range of 3, and it will target 1 random enemy squad. 80% chance, a very high chance to deal 500% damage, that's quite high damage, but not top meta level damage, to 1 random enemy squad. And then 100% of the damage will be used to restore the power of 2 random squads of your side. Restore the power, I would assume that is healing, and you're healing the amount that that 500% damage is doing, and obviously you're getting it to 2 squads. So this is a very nice skill. You're obviously doing a reasonable amount of damage quite regularly in the battle. 80%, that's potentially 6 or 7 times this could be activating in a battle if he's not CC'd, controlled in any way. And you're also getting a high level of healing, so really good start to his skills. Skill 3 and 4 are of course the usual extra resistance and might, 50%, nothing new there. And then skill 5, Trial of Light, combat skill, effective range of 3, and this is going to target 2 random enemy squads. Now this is one of the skills that does require 1 round of prep, so if it triggers on turn 2 for instance, then it will action on turn 3. Only 45% chance. They need to look at this because they've written double percentage signs again. Obviously they were releasing all these skills at short notice, I guess. Chance to deal 500% damage to 2 random enemy squads within the valid range. So that's 1000% damage. That is a high level of damage. So this already El Cid is looking to be a pretty good hero, to be honest with you. If you're getting 500% from skill 2 80% of the time, plus this activating 1 round of prep, 45% chance, I'd initially think that this is going to activate, probably best chance you're looking at about 3 times a battle. You've got to remember, if it triggers in round 8, then it's not going to action, so you're losing an opportunity there. Increase the skill damage, and it will increase the skill damage against the targets by 30%, so debuffing your opponent, and for 2 rounds. So even though if this does activate only 3 times in the battle, you're debuffing your opponent for a good 3/4 of that battle for 6 rounds. 30% is not huge, but the fact that it's on 2 different squads is a nice skill as well, on top of the fact that you're doing all of this damage. Skill 6, he's giving extra combat speed. So this is usually you would expect like a melee hero to be having extra HP because he's on front row. You want them to be tanky. Combat speed, you know, obviously determines who goes first in a round. I'm not sure that's so good, particularly with there's so many different ways to get combat speed at the moment. Would it have that much of an impact? I'm not sure. Skill 7 is extra might, so again, because he's doing a lot of damage. Again, for a melee hero, though, you probably would have expected him to have resistance. And then skill 8, Song of El Cid, prep skill, effective range of 3, and it's targeting 2 random friendly squads this time. 70% chance, so a good high percentage again. Percentage has been icon has been put in twice again. Chance each round for 2 random squads of on your side, so in your legion, to have 15% more chance to cast skills that need prep. So this is obviously this increased chance ability that we've seen from Warden, for instance, who just does it, but his only targets skill 5 of a hero. This is effective with any hero that has that needs prep. So my understanding of that would be that it is this type of combat skill that requires prep. And obviously, if it's giving an extra 15% to this skill, it's going to buff it to 60% chance. So that's, you're potentially then looking at that maybe actioning 4 or 5 times a battle. And who else are we thinking of that would benefit from this? Well, immediately, if you think that he's a cavalry hero, then I am thinking Avalanche, because Avalanche's 5th skill requires prep, 1 turn of prep. So you're increasing this from a 40% chance to a 55% chance. Whether then that increases this element of it to 75% chance, I'm not sure. If it did, then that would be a very nice addition. You're maybe seeing this action 4 times in a battle, and 3 of those 4 times you'd be getting the extra 310% damage to the back row and suppressing them. So we'd need to check in actual battle footage how that's going to impact. The other hero people might be thinking about that requires lots of prep is obviously Jade Eagle. He has both skill 5 that requires 1 turn of prep, and it's only 30% chance. So increasing that to 45% chance could be good. Jade Eagle, the main skill, of course, that would increase this to 75% chance, but it still does require the 2 turns of prep. So you might only get this off, even if you're then increasing this to maybe, 3 or 4 times in a battle, that it does do huge damage. But Jade Eagle, again, being this glass cannon hero, how effective is he in kind of these later stages of the game? I'm not sure. Might be worth trialing him with it. In terms of El Cid, he is most similar to the SX12 general hero from LSS, who did have elements of skills that improved the prep abilities of other heroes, but his were better actually. I think one of his skills guaranteed that a prep skill would action or it gave a chance to. So we have seen skills like Warlords, obviously, that does also give the chance to improve prep skills. So it's not really anything new in that regard, but he's a good rounded hero, I think. And there is also the second element to his 8th skill: apply a shield to the squad, making the damage taken by the squad minus 35% for the subsequent 2 times. So that's only 2 lots of damage. It's not per turn, and it's only for the 1 round. But when you consider that's minus 35% for 2 squads, that's pretty good. So he does quite a lot. El Cid, he's got a lot of he does a lot of damage. He is healing, he's debuffing opponents, he's buffing your team. So yeah, quite a good, well-rounded hero. Who's he going to work with? I would suspect, as I've already stated, you're going to see him with Avalanche, and I guess Hellfire would be the natural kind of other addition there. You might want to put Hellfire on the middle row. Would you put El Cid front row? You might put in middle row. Front or middle row, I guess. It depends, because then these combat skills aren't going to target the back row of your opponent if you put in middle row. So you might want to go El Cid, Hellfire, Avalanche, for instance. I think that's going to be a common combination. And now on to the next hero. We have Pepin. So he is a Footman support hero yet again. Skill 1 is the same as usual. Thunderstruck is his 2nd skill. Effective range of 4, so immediately I'm thinking middle row for him as well. It's going to target 2 random enemy squads. 60% chance, so pretty good. To deal 225% damage to 2 random enemy squads within the valid range, and making the resistance of that squad minus 150% for 2 rounds. Effect can be stacked. 450% damage in total, basically, from a Footman, and you're reducing their resistance. Of course, if this activates 60% of the time, so you're looking at about 5 times a battle, and if it does activate back to back in 2 rounds, this would increase the resistance to minus 300. That is important because this skill is influenced by resistance. It's another influence skill, so if your enemy squad has less resistance than you do, then the effect of the skill will be improved. So it does kind of buff itself. But how likely is it that it will actually increase to minus 300? It's not going to be that consistent. We already have like a hero that does minus 300 resistance in Cicero. And Arthur also decreases resistance, I believe. So, I mean, I'm not really blown away. I don't think that's very good skill. 3 and 4, as usual, extra 50% on the resistance and might. 5th skill, combat skill, quite a long description for this one. Effective range of 2, and it targets 2 random friendly squads. So for every 6 combat skills cast by all squads of your side in your legion, 100% chance to increase the combat skill damage dealt by 3 random footmen squads of your side within the whole range by 35%, within the valid range, sorry. And apply a lifesteal effect, allowing the said squads to use 15% of the damage dealt to restore the power of the squad, lasting 1 round. Okay, so let's start with the first part. Every 6 combat skills cast by your squad. So we've seen these abilities before, and obviously for Footmen, you're going to see almost certainly Scarlet Reaver paired with Pepin, because Scarlet Reaver has all 3 combat skills and her second skill is 100% chance. So you're going to have to, you're limited in the fact that for him to be most effective, you have to put him with heroes that need combat skills, but we already have other heroes, other combos that require that as well. It's so wordy, this. So you're basically giving, and he can't be used in mixed combos because you won't get the best out of this. It needs to be that you have a full Footman Legion, and then you're increasing all of your Footman Legion's damage by 35%, which is quite nice when you think that it's applying the 35% is applying 3 times. That is quite a good buff, 105% in total. That is one of the better skill boosting buffing abilities we've seen. Lifesteal effect is, for me, it just looks like exactly the same as we've seen from like Liberator, we've just seen El Cid, that it is basically a healing skill based on the amount of damage that you do, and this is only 15%. It's not a lot. I mean, it's marginally better than Liberator's. Liberator is restricted because it's only based on the damage. It's only available for the end of the battle, and it's only 40% of the damage done by the back row squad. So this is 45% in total. Every 6 combat skills, you could see this cast every round. You could, realistically. So you could have a permanent buff and you could have permanent healing, but if it's only 15%, that's quite low per legion. I'm not sure how OP this is going to be, and it's a combat skill, so it can be suppressed. 6th skill is extra HP, so what you would expect from like a support hero, and extra resistance, so you might want to put Pepin on the front or middle row, I guess. You wouldn't want to put him on the back row. And his 8th skill is a combat skill, effective range of 4. Target 3 random friendly squads. So for the first 3 rounds, 100% chance each round to restore some power of your squads of your side. Recovery rate is 40%. Okay, so this is guaranteed healing in the first 3 rounds, but only 40% still. But I guess if you're getting 15% of the damage as well that you're doing in healing, that's going to be quite a lot of healing. Not huge amounts though, still only 120%. It's not going to be, I don't think, as OP as healer. And apply a shield, making the damage taken minus 80% for the subsequent 1 time. Now that is a massive debuff, I have to say, minus 80%. And the fact that it's applicable to all 3 squads, that is actually pretty big. I don't think we've seen such a good debuff in terms of, it's a buff to your squads, isn't it? Reducing that damage by minus 80%, as damage is one of the key attributes in the game. So that is huge. Starting from round 4, 100% chance to cast the Thunderstruck skill once on the disarmed enemy squad. So this is a 100% chance to cast Thunderstruck on a disarmed enemy squad. And that's this. So you're guaranteeing Thunderstruck on disarmed squads. But you've got to put him with Footmen. I mean, that really... And you've got to put him with heroes that do combat skills. So you're really limiting now who they can work with. Who he can work with. He's probably one of the least versatile heroes we've seen. And does Reaver even disarm? Yes. Okay. So he basically definitely is got to be paired with Scarlet Reaver. Would you then pair with Healer, for instance? She does a lot of healing as well. I'm not. You have to pair him definitely with Scarlet Reaver, and then one other, preferably another Footman hero that disarms. I think, but I'm not sure who that would be. Yeah, I mean, potentially he could be very good with Scarlet Reaver. Other than that, I'm not sure. I don't think. And are you going to want to use Scarlet Reaver with him? The jury's out on Pepin. We're going to have to wait and see how effective that combo is. Let's look at the last hero in the group, which is Belisarius. So Belisarius is a ranged archer. Now this is the hero I was expecting us to get, because they in LSS SX12 they have a ranged archer hero called well, they call them shooters, but and she's called Glowblade. So let's have a look at Belisarius. Skill 1 is, as usual, the extra marching capacity. Skill 2, combat skill, ripping apart, 75% chance, a nice high chance, to deal 150% damage to one random enemy squad within the valid range and make the target enter the state of bleeding, and take 200% damage before taking any actions each round for 1 round. If the combat speed of the squad being attacked is lower than that of Belisarius, the skill will be cast once more, deemed as casting combat skills twice. So that's so linked to these kind of heroes that require a certain amount of skills cast. Okay, first thing, 75% chance, very nice. That's increased. That's likely to be 6 times a battle. 100%, 50% damage, but then you enter the squad into bleeding state. Bleeding is just obviously another version of fire or poison damage. Effectively, it's just the latest kind of description for that. 200% damage, so that's 350% damage. He's an archer, so how likely is it that the combat speed will be, if you're up against cavalry, for instance, how likely would it be that the opponent has a lower combat speed than you? It's probably unlikely, but if it did activate, then you're talking about 700% damage if this is activating both elements twice. That's quite a lot of damage, but only to one random enemy squad. How not mega OP. Third and fourth skills are 50% resistance and might as usual. Fifth skill, prep skill, hunting down, targets one random enemy squad. A 70% chance, a high chance again, to deal 250% damage to the enemy squad with the lowest power, and steal 40 of its combat speed, stackable and lasting till the battle ends. If the squad being attacked happens to be in the status of poisoned or bleeding, so linking to skill 2, 250% damage will be dealt to all enemy squads. Alright, so this is... Now, would this be an additional 250% on top of that, or it just means that all 3 squads take the 250% damage? Because if it's on top of that, then you're talking about a total of 1,000 damage, which would be very good. Even 750% damage is pretty good. And a 70% chance, so again, you're looking at 5 or 6 times a battle. This is an interesting element. Stealing combat speed from the opponent, and it's 40. So if you think that this would activate, say, let's just say 5 times a battle, and this is stackable and just lasts, you could, by the end of the battle, be taking 200 combat speed from your opponent. Now, really, the most important thing is that you want to reach the kind of level in the disparity between archers and cavalry. Now maybe this is why El Cid, for instance, has that extra 100 combat speed on his skill 6 to counter Belisarius, because then you're obviously going to need this to activate another 3 times to remove that 100 extra combat speed. So this won't be as effective against combos, basically basic attack combos that have Rose in him, for instance, because she has that extra 100 combat speed on her 6th skill. Lawman has extra combat speed as well. So that's the kind of combo you would use to counter Belisarius. But, and already as well in terms of pairing him, so he will give this extra damage if against a poisoned opponent. So Poison Master, you've got to put, it's going to be probably a defensive archer on the middle front row, and then Poison Master middle row, Belisarius back row for sure. 6th skill is 15% extra damage, as you'd expect from a ranged hero, and the extra might, again what you'd expect. And then 8th skill, Riding Waves. It's a prep skill, targeting his squad, one random friendly squad. The skill damage dealt by Belisarius could be increased by 25% every round in the combat. The stats will be determined every round. Now the reason that it says that is because if Belisarius is the first to take action in a round, the skill damage he deals will be increased by 50% this round. So of course, how do you take action first in a round? It's because you want to link him with, it's because his combat speed is going to be higher. So this is basically saying that this is giving you a 25% skill damage buff every time, which is okay. Again, it's not OP, but once you reach that level where the stackable element of the stealing the skills on skill 5 has been reached, then you're going to be doing 50% buff each time. So that's a good additional buff, like the same as what Sakura does. So I'm wondering actually if you would want to put Sakura, because she does guarantee going first on the first 2 turns as well. You might want to say go Sakura, Poison, and then Belisarius with this hero. It's going to be interesting if you're stealing combat speed. Maybe you only need this to activate 2 times to give, then, because you would be reducing the opponent's combat speed by 80 and increasing yours by 80. That could be the difference. Again, it will be more difficult against Rosen, for instance. So depending on who you're against with this combo, this could be very good for an Archer Legion, but we'll have to wait and see. Glowblade in LSS wasn't a top OP hero, but like I say, I think if we potentially pair him with Sakura, Poison Master, or any other hero that does poisoning as well, then that could be interesting. And then I'm guessing we're going to get heroes in the future that will do bleeding as well, which could improve him. So there you go, guys. That is my first look at the first 3 new heroes. Obviously it's a bit of an extended video. I tried to get through them as quickly as possible. It's going to be interesting to see how effective they are in the game. Of course, please, as usual, put your comments in the comment section down below. What do you think about the 3 new heroes? Do you like one in particular? There wasn't a lot of new kind of elements to the abilities, was there? There's healing and debuffing, etc. The change in the combat speed, the stealing the combat speed is an interesting one, I have to say, on Belisarius. But yeah, the jury's really going to be out on how OP these 3 are, and Pepin in particular is not very versatile in terms of who you could pair him with. So yeah, put your comments in the comment section down below, and if you could then please share this video and my channel in your Alliance chat, Province chat, and through Line, WhatsApp, Viber, Discord, whatever you use to communicate with your fellow players in the game, that would be very much appreciated. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.